So I want to talk today about why I fast and the actual psychological benefit of why I like to incorporate a longer fast in the start of my diet to make the rest of the diet easier. What's up everybody, it's Andrew V here. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a performance coach, mindset coach, and I'm vlogging every day what it takes down to get really shredded, lean, successful, have great relationships, just have a phenomenal life. Recently my life went through a massive turmoil where everything was ripped from underneath me, and now I'm on a process of rebuilding bigger, better, stronger than before. So right now I'm about 42 hours fasted now. So I've decided to really kick my diet up a notch by fasting. Now, I incorporate fasting a lot, and sometimes I don't. But with fasting, there's just a lot of stuff that goes on of people saying that fasting does this for your health, fasting does this, and it's good for detoxing, and it's good for this, it's good for that, and I mean, yes, there's some truth to it, but reality is I don't believe in the word detox. When people talk about detox, well, detox is just you stopping eating crap. Like, that's the reality of it. That's what a detox is. So again, I'm going to talk about why I fast in the start of my diet to make the rest of the diet easier. And if I ever have a pain in my diet, how do I incorporate fasting then to again make the diet easier? So a couple of things I'm going to address here. When we make any changes at all, change is naturally something we're resistant as a human being to do, right? So if I'm going along and I've got my habits and I've just got something that I'm used to, when I incorporate a change, be it in any form, that's going to create a form of resistance. Now that form of resistance will require discipline, control, because you're going to have negative emotions or emotions pulling you towards not changing, and you're going to need to use self-control, self-power to overcome that and then build a new habit. So I've been lately eating a lot of sugar, like 50 to 100 grams plus of sugar per day. If you don't know, sugar is quite addictive. So I realized that I'm about to cut out sugar because I realized that sugar wasn't doing good for my mindset, wasn't doing good for my fitness goals, and I just was feeling quite sore in my muscles. And I know that I could have replaced those sugar carbs with better carbs, with like rice or rye bread or just other forms of carbohydrates which will fuel my workouts more. So I have this thing that I'm about to change. So I've got sugar and I'm going to need to cut out the sugar. Sugar acts like a drug on the brain. I'm going to need to cut out sugar. I'm going to go through some withdrawals. I'm going to go through some pain, and I'm going to want sugar. So this is where I incorporate a fast. So what I've actually decided to do is, instead of creating the pain of just sugar, why don't I overshoot and I create a much higher pain? So create the discipline to create a higher pain where I take out all food, proteins, carbs, fats, sugar, sodium, all of it. So what I'm actually doing with my mindset is I'm increasing the level of pain to much higher than what I need to. So therefore, within a couple of days when I stop fasting, cutting out sugar will seem not painful at all. Because what I've done is I've increased the pain, I've ripped out all the foods, and then I've introduced some foods again. So it'll actually feel pleasurable to eat again. Whether it's sugar or not, I'll actually experience a form of pleasure from eating again. Where before, if I would have just cut out sugar, I would have always felt like there's something missing. So if you have a drastic change that you want to make to your diet, or you want to cut out something permanently, or you want to do something, that's where I'd put it in. Give yourself a fast. Now, fasting is not easy. It's not easy. Mentally, it's taken me 42 hours to even create this video because I was like, I'm just going to be depressed and unhappy on this video. And your brain goes all over the shop because you're cutting out all the food. So I feel like I'm hungry. My body's going through some changes. There's hormonal changes throughout the period of time. Your growth hormone spikes up. You've got an insulin resistance goes down. You know, there's lots of things happening at the moment. I'm starting to use ketones for energy rather than carbohydrates because all my glycogen levels are depleted. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now. The biggest thing I want you to take away is if you want to make a big change and that change seems painful, why don't you make an even bigger change that creates a bigger level of pain? And fasting is great because fasting, you've removed all pleasure. And then what happens is when you put in whatever other level of pleasure you've got in, so if tomorrow I'm going to bring in only healthy food, that's actually going to feel already pleasurable enough for me that I won't be missing out on sugar as much. Because what I've just experienced was a massive amount of pain. So psychologically, and you can apply this to any bits in your life, psychologically, if you remove all pleasures of life temporarily and then put in the things that you do want in your life, the good habits, all of those will already seem more pleasurable than not having any of it. So that's kind of why I incorporate fast in the start of diets or in the start of changes. And I've been playing or toying with the idea of putting in a fast once a week at the start of the week, just a 36-hour fast on a Monday. There are some people that do that, and I've been thinking maybe in a month or two I might start incorporating them weekly, maybe in a couple of weeks. Don't know. Anyway, I'm 42 hours deep into a fast. Tomorrow I'll be breaking it, so that'll be about 70-ish hours or so into a fast, and I'll be gently reintroducing the foods. But the foods I'll be reintroducing are only the ones that I want to stay with me. So if you've got a diet in plan, if you've got how much protein you're going to have, how much carbs you're going to have, what type of food you're going to have, this is the best place to do that. Because what you've been is you've just taken out all food, and any food now is going to start tasting good. So just put in the food that you want to eat or that you know you need to eat, and that will all already be pleasurable. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Because for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be on a very, very strict diet. And then eventually I'm going to be introducing carbs, and eventually I'm going to be introducing a lot of other stuff, and you'll follow along. But for the moment, fasting. That's where I'd use it. If you feel like your diet has been a little off, or you feel like you've, just been in a rut, or you want to get rid of sugar, or you want to do something drastic, like a fast. Start with a 24-hour fast, for example. So eat at dinner one day and don't eat all the way till dinner the next day. Or start at dinner and don't eat until breakfast the day after, if you can make it there. Try it out. See how it goes. And you'll see that it'll kind of reset your pleasure instincts. It'll reset that for you, that when you then put in other food, it'll feel better. If you don't eat, I've fasted once for 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, I could smell somebody cutting a watermelon from like 100 meters away. Just watermelon, something we don't necessarily think about it, but I was salivating from watermelon, just the thought of it. So the idea is if you remove all stimulus and then reintroduce stimulus that may before be not as good, now it'll feel a lot better. I hope you got something from this video. Again, I'm vlogging every day, and I hope you got value out of today. Subscribe, like, comment. I'll see you in the next video.